I'd like to welcome everybody to our marketing session for George Brown College. My name is Lori Footerer, and I'm a professor in the Diploma program for marketing. And Adrienne, I'll just have you introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Adrian Bond. I'm also a professor in the program. I particularly teach the senior electives in both programs, but I also coordinate the B120, which is the 2-year version of the program.
Right. So Adrian and I, as our role as coordinators, really are there for our students to really help you navigate your time at George Brown College. If you have any academic issues, you need advice on career coaching, really anything that you've got questions on, Adrian and I can either answer them ourselves or we can direct you into the right places. So we're sort of good people to know if you choose to start your time at George Brown College. So I'm just going to go through my slides here. Oh, there. So I wanted to kick off and discuss the different diploma level marketing programs. And before I jump in, if you've got any questions, you can either put them in the chat bar, and John is our facilitator, sort of host, and he's going to help sort of navigate those questions in the chat bar, or feel free to turn on your microphone and just ask the question. We don't have a huge group, so very easy for us to really just have a conversation. We really want you guys to walk away from this session with us today to have a really good understanding of the program itself, what it looks like, the type of courses that you're going to be taking, what you really can expect when or if you decide to attend George Brown College. So feel free to really jump in and make sure you leave this session with all the information that you're looking for. So I'm going to just kick it off by explaining the 3 different programs that we have in the diploma marketing. So we've got the B120, and that is a 2-year program. So it's over 4 semesters, 27 courses to graduate, and we've just done the split of, so the majority of those are mandatory courses, and then you'll have a business elective as well as 3 general education electives. So, the benefit of the 2-year program, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. You really, get the certificate more quickly, but the difference between the 2-year and the 3-year is what you're missing is diving a little bit deeper into some of those areas of marketing that you might be interested in. And I always like to say to my students, this is a business marketing diploma. So what you're going to find is it's really a business administration diploma with a focus on marketing. And when I put up the course pathways, you'll notice you're going to take courses in economics and in finance and in computers and in communications. And so you really need to be prepared for that if you choose to come into this program, particularly the 2-year program, because it's really the 3-year program that we get into a few more specialties in terms of marketing. So then the other 2 programs are the B108 and the B158. And so the only difference between the B108 and the B158 program is the B158 program is a co-op. So you take all the same courses, 6 semesters, 3 years, but then you also will layer on 2 work terms on top of that. So you will graduate with business administration marketing with a co-op designation. So as I'd mentioned, you're looking at 6 semesters or 3 years, 38 courses to graduate. And then you'll see we've got some mandatory courses, 31, 4 business electives, and then 3 general education electives. Now, let me talk a little bit more about the work stream option, the B158. And I've already mentioned this, that you will graduate with these 2 terms. So they're 4-month work terms, and they begin after 3rd semester. So essentially what happens is you must take 1 additional course, which is a co-op prep course. And then once you've completed that course, you can then be able to take your work terms. The other thing that I did want to mention is you must have a 3.0 cumulative GPA to go out on a co-op work term and to remain in the program. So it's definitely something that you need to consider. Now, the one thing I also wanted to say is it's very easy to move between these 3 programs. So we have a lot of students that might start in the B158, think co-op is what they want, and then maybe don't meet the GPA requirement. It's very easy to move you into the B108 or even the B120 program. We have students that do the 2-year B120 and decide that they want to come back for the third year. And so the decisions that you make in terms of entering George Brown, they're not set in stone. It's not a tattoo. You can easily pivot if you want to, and we encourage that as well. So just something to keep in mind as you are considering George Brown and which of the three programs might be the best fit for you. Now, in terms of the courses, this is the B120 pathway, but it's also the B108 and 158 pathway for the first 4 semesters. So this is why it's very easy to jump between the programs, because the first 2 years of the program are, they mirror each other. So, and you can see, as per my earlier comment, that there are courses, you have your marketing courses in first semester, you've got a couple of marketing courses, but you're layering on an English course, a mathematics course, computer course, a business concepts course. And then as you move through the other 3 semesters in this program, you can see you continue with your marketing, but you also are layering on other disciplines. So you've got accounting that comes in. As I mentioned, you've got economics that's going to come in at some point. And so just as I said, something to keep in mind. And really in third and fourth semester is when you get into a little bit more of the marketing. So you'll notice you've got a couple of marketing courses in third semester, and then in fourth semester, you've got even more courses. And then the other thing that I did want to mention with your elective, that can be a marketing or a general business elective. And then you've got these general education electives, which is really, areas of interest that you might have outside of the field of business or marketing. Let me just go to my next slide here. So now in terms of the B108 and 158, you can see that we're getting a little bit more detailed. You've got a consumer behavior course for marketing. You've got an advertising and media campaign development that's layered on there, as well as some other business courses. And then you can see you've got these elective choices. So in semester 5, you've got 2 elective choices. And in semester 6, you've got 3 elective choices. And this is really your opportunity to hone in on the field of marketing that you might be more interested in, whether it be in digital marketing or product management or not-for-profit or event marketing. I mean, there's courses that you can take that can hone in those skills a little bit further. And here's just an example of some of the marketing electives, but this is, as I said, just an example. We do offer other different marketing and business electives as well in terms of those two programs. Now, let me talk a little bit about the work experience terms for those of you that are interested in the co-op. So we have over 250 industry partners within the School of Business that works with us to secure these work terms for our students. And it's really a shared responsibility. I mean, you folks are sort of driving this initiative to find those work terms and those experiences that are going to be most relevant to you and sort of marry you with the types of marketing that you're interested in. But the co-op department helps bring those experiences to you as well. I just have a slide here of some of our current work term employers. And again, I mean, the slide before that was 250 industry partners right now. So this is a very small snapshot of some of the companies that we're currently working with to place our co-op students. And there are many, many really interesting and great work opportunities, co-op opportunities for our students. But again, I can't stress enough, it is your job to work, to build your resume, to get yourself job ready, to take that co-op course, to network, and really also navigate getting the right co-op for you. So I think sometimes students sign up for a co-op program and they assume just because they've ticked that box that they're going to be handed wonderful work terms. And that's not always the case. It really is a two-way street in terms of securing the employment that you're looking for. Oh, I've already mentioned that. Sorry, double slide there. So what are some of the other things that you can expect in terms of your time at George Brown? So 18 to 21 hours of scheduled classes a week. I mean, this is a program that is a full-time program. And I know we have a lot of our students that have part-time jobs, have commitments outside of the college, maybe families, other, interests or commitments, as I mentioned. But we really want to make sure that our students are prepared that, you're taking between 5 and 7 courses a semester. And so it is a heavy load. Most of the courses are scheduled Monday to Friday between 8 and 6. There's a few sort of outliers that we're just piloting in terms of evening courses and on the weekends, but you really should be prepared to have a course schedule between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And, I think I've been teaching at the college for 20 years, and Adrian, I don't know how long, but I mean, we're pretty seasoned at this. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I find my students have is to manage the volume of work. It is, it is a very demanding program, and group work is a large component of these courses. So it's not just making sure you've got the time to come to class, but also being able to manage that workload outside of class. What I will say is this, not to deter anybody, that I think a lot of students, they start these programs and, we throw up, you're going to graduate in 6 semesters, you're going to graduate in 4 semesters, and you feel like that has to be the path. And I can tell you that, the majority of our students don't follow it exactly. If you want to have a part-time job, maybe only 5 courses or 4 courses makes the most sense for you. And the great thing about these diploma programs at George Brown is these marketing diploma programs is we offer every course every semester, with the exception of some of the electives. So what that means is if you, if you fail a course or if you've got to drop a course, you can pick it up quite easily in the summertime. You can stay an extra semester or 2 if you need to. And I always encourage my students to really pace yourself with this. I mean, it is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think sometimes students make the mistake of really thinking that they've got to follow exactly what we've said at the beginning to the letter of the law. But the nice thing about these programs is you can really customize them to meet your personal needs. And I think that's a real benefit of all 3 of these programs. Even the co-op work terms, they're not set in stone when you take them. Let's say you find a great co-op and they want you for 8 months. You can work for them for 8 months and do 2 of your co-op terms back to back. Let's say you only want to do your co-op terms in the summer. Great, you can do that too. You can take those at any time. So there's quite a bit of flexibility once you get through your 3rd semester in terms of building what that co-op experience looks like for you, which I think is really key. So where do our students go after they graduate from George Brown? And we get this question a lot. And, so I've got it broken down into 3 different areas. A lot of our students have an entrepreneurial spirit and they come to George Brown to learn some marketing and business skills. And then they go off and they start their own businesses or manage a family business. I'm teaching in 1st semester right now. And I want to say I think I have about 80 1st semester students. And I want to say I've got 10 to maybe 15 of them that already have their own businesses. And they're here to really just learn some of the technical skills to bring those businesses to the next level. I mean, the great thing about e-commerce these days is there's so much opportunity in entrepreneurship. And I think this program really complements that very well. If you're somebody that's thinking about starting their own business or maybe has their own business or managing a family business, I think this is a good fit for you. A lot of our students go on to complete other post-secondary. So we have an affiliation with Ryerson. And if you spend 3 years at George Brown with a cumulative GPA of 3.4, so it's a pretty high GPA, you automatically get accepted into Ryerson and you can spend a couple of years there. So you have a 3-year college diploma and then you also graduate with a university business administration degree. And so that's very appealing to some of our students. We also have affiliations, articulation agreements with universities in Michigan, Australia, and Scotland. So there are opportunities there. And then, I'm also also finding that other post-secondary institutions look at some of these college experiences, and it could open up you getting some transfer credits into other universities, and that has to be sort of managed by you on a case-by-case basis. The other thing that happens is other post-secondary college opportunities. So for instance, I've talked about going from the 2-year to the 3-year program. But we also have, as do many of the Ontario colleges across the province, these post-diploma programs. So currently in the marketing department, we have a post-diploma program in sport and event marketing. We have one in digital marketing. We have one in strategic relationship management. We have one in financial services marketing. And so some of our students can spend 3 years with us, and then they can take 1 year and do a post-diploma. And these post-diploma programs really hone in on a very specific area of marketing, and they too have a co-op component. And I teach in the digital marketing program right now as well. And it's just a wonderful program that these students get excellent jobs out of. So it's also another avenue that people might want to consider, spend some time with us in the undergrad program and then move into a post-diploma program. And then of course, the third area is industry. So going out and getting that job. And marketing is such a broad range of types of careers. And we have students that are in all types of roles, from product and brand management to digital marketing to market research to account management at advertising agencies. A lot of our students go into media. So much happening in the digital world right now. So we've got graduates across so many different industries. And, it's interesting. Again, I've talked about this first semester course that I'm currently teaching called Marketing Today. And one of the things that I do is I bring in alumni from this program, and they share with my students the experiences that they've had out in the real world. And when I go through my LinkedIn page and pull up students that have graduated from this program, it's just so exciting and impressive to see what so many of my past students are doing, and hearing their stories in the classroom and sort of bringing them to life in all different facets of marketing, I think really jazzes. I know my first semester students, it's really makes them really excited about sort of their future beyond the walls at George Brown. So just a little bit of a peek in terms of some of the companies that have hired our students. And this list is very long and robust. The other thing that I will say about choosing George Brown in terms of a marketing discipline, in terms of why would you go to George Brown versus maybe some of the other Ontario colleges that offer similar programs, is we have such a affiliation and connection to industry, given we're in the downtown core. And I know this in a sort of in a COVID world and in a digital world, it doesn't seem, or might necessarily seem, as much of a competitive advantage, but rest assured, it really is. It has allowed us to connect to some of these big companies and big industries. It allows us to land client projects that are really relevant in the classroom. It allows us to secure great guest speakers and co-op programs that I've already mentioned. And I think we do an excellent job with our curriculum in this program to really bring you real world experiences in the classroom. And the client projects that we have are fantastic. And, a lot of our students might say, oh, how am I going to get a job? I haven't worked in industry. I've gone to school, but, I'm a waitress, or I work in retail, and how am I going to be marketable? And you can take these client projects and so easily put them on your resume and talk to them as work experiences, because they really and truly are. And those are things that all of you will have an opportunity to engage in. And I'm not talking just one client projects. I'm talking, many across many of the courses, both required courses and electives. And I think it makes our program truly unique. Some of the other keys.
Lori, sorry, just
Oh,
going to
yes.
jump in here quickly. Just had a question. We had a applicant wondering if George Brown College is affiliated at all with York University. Sorry, just to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. So we don't have a specific affiliation with York University, but I sort of mentioned this before, but what I can tell you is this. I think a lot of university institutions are looking at the college experience now through a bit of a different lens. And I was just working with a student actually a month ago who was looking to transfer to York University. And my advice to her was to go and meet with the registrar there and share the courses that you've taken at George Brown, share the course outlines, and see if you can get some exemptions. And she was quite successful in doing that. But that's a case by case basis, and there's certainly no promises there. And I think you'll find that with any college that you go to, the one that is the one that I can talk the most to is the Ryerson experience. That's the one where most of our students go. We have that articulation agreement. Success there, but certainly nothing in writing with York University. Okay, let
All
me
right,
know if
great.
that
Thank
answers
you.
your question. Okay, great. So some of the other keys to success I wanted to just touch on, and I've alluded to some of these things, is, being well organized. As I had mentioned, you've got 18 to 21 hours of classes, group work, so it's very important. Attendance in these courses are also very important. There's a lot, like my courses that I teach right now, anywhere from 15 to 25% of the marks are based on coming to class and in-class assignments and participation. And I think, marketing is a discipline where you really need to be in class. A lot of these courses are not necessarily textbook courses where, read the chapter and answer the questions and you'll be good. I mean, the learning is really happening in the classroom. Active and in-class participation, which I've already mentioned. Working independently as well as in teams is really important. And the other thing that we really ask our students to do is think about maintaining an up-to-date marketing portfolio. And one of the courses I'm really excited about, I've already talked about it a couple of times, which is brand new to the marketing diploma this year, is this Marketing Today course. And one of the goals of that course is to set students up with a online marketing portfolio that has visuals, that has video in it, that really captures your experiences in an engaging way. And we're going to help you to do that so that when you go into the classroom and have those client projects, you can populate this digital portfolio and then also layer on your experiences outside the college. So when you graduate, you've got this really excellent networking, show and tell, interview tool that you can pull up and show potential employers or other organizations that, here's what I did at George Brown and during my time at George Brown, and here's why I'm a really relevant marketer today. And I think we're the only college in Ontario that's doing something like this and taking this really seriously. We sort of launch it in the first year, and then it comes back to you in second and third year as sort of your capstone project. So we help you with that, and that's really important. The other thing that we say to our students is, you guys are signing up for a business program. So staying current is really important. And we give you lots of resources to do that. A lot of the learning happens outside of the classroom. And I think the more you can take that on as your role as well, the more successful you're going to be. One of the very exciting things that are happening in the field of marketing right now is a lot of the stuff, particularly in the digital world, can be self-taught. So there's these micro credentials, there's lots of different seminars and webinars and things that you can do outside the classroom that we also encourage you to do and help you sort of navigate that can give you even another leg up when you graduate from George Brown. And it's something that we're taking quite seriously at the college, to point our students in directions that make them, so marketable. I really view my job, like, to me, success is when I look at my LinkedIn connections and see what my students are doing, students that I have taught and students that I have assisted in their learning with me to get these jobs outside the classroom. And, that you know, to me is the ultimate test of success of a college program. You know, the other thing that I've got down here is getting involved in extracurricular activities. We have so many opportunities, and I know we're sitting in a COVID world right now, so it's hard to speak to all the things, you know, that George Brown has to offer, but, you know, fingers crossed, we're going to get back to it. And certainly for you folks that are going to join us in, you know, September or maybe in the winter term, and be with us for 2 or 3 years, there will be opportunities to get involved in extracurricular, whether it be in, you know, sports or other different business clubs. I mean, there's so many different areas that can help you build your resume and make you enjoy your learning experience. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a double slide as well. You know, just some specific extracurricular opportunities in the undergrad. We have something called the OCMC, which is the Ontario Colleges Marketing Competition, which is an amazing opportunity for our top students to network with other students across Ontario and compete in this case-based approach to marketing strategy, which is, you know, really, really fun and engaging. We have other case competitions, one that's a national one that's typically hosted out of Montreal called the Vanier College Case Challenge. We have a wonderful chapter at George Brown of an organization called Electives, which is a student-run entrepreneurship program where you work with students across the School of Business to work with real companies on issues that they have and help solve those problems. And that's just a wonderful program. So we really do help you try to get involved. Speed mentoring is something that we do a few times a year where we bring in industry experts and we bring in students and they have an opportunity. It's sort of like speed dating, only in a mentoring capacity, where they have an opportunity to connect and make an impression with these industry experts. And, you know, often these will lead to other sort of longer meetups with experts of their choice. So, you know, we really are trying at the college to connect you, you know, with industry and bring some extracurricular opportunities to you that are going to help you as you pursue what it is that you want with your career. You know, some other things to mention, we've got a very robust student awards program. So from a financial services standpoint, we have scholarships and bursaries that we work with industry partners to connect you with some other monetary opportunities. So great, you know, great thing to keep in mind. We have a wonderful career services department that helps right out of the gate from first semester through graduation with helping you get job ready and prepare for that job. And lots of great workshops there. We've got peer assisted learning, so free tutoring in English and math and accounting. We've also got some piloting some marketing courses as well. So, and you know, ESL students can use this. Counseling services, an additional tutoring and learning center. So lots of different supports outside of the classroom that can help you navigate your time at George Brown. Here's just a few more. We've got our accessible learning services that help with any accommodations that you might need. And they're always there to assist as well. And then we've got our athletics and recreation facilities. So we've got, you know, a great gym and that's available to you. We've got a lot of intramurals that you can join and also a robust varsity sports program as well. So again, separate from your marketing pursuits, definitely some other areas of the college that you can become involved in. And I think, you know, that is sort of my, I don't know how long I've been talking, sort of 30 minutes of what it would be like and what to expect in terms of your time at George Brown. I mean, so happy to open up the floor to any questions. Would love to hear from any of you with you know, any questions or concerns or anything I might not have covered, or if you need me to go into more detail. But we've also got a slide up here in terms of application. So I'll turn it over to questions. Or Adrian, unless you wanted to add
Yeah,
anything.
I just worried we don't have we didn't put up our email addresses, but people can find us if you just go in the program and there's a contact at the bottom.
Yeah,
of that
and I
page.
can put it in the, I think we can put it in the chat bar too. I'll put my email address in the chat bar.
Great. You remember mine too, right? You can put me.
Yeah, I'll put you.
Or just.
Oops. And no questions. Looks like no questions.
I don't have any questions, but I think you guys did a really good job on the slideshow.
I thought I did excellent.
Oh.
Did you see me? I avoided jumping. All I do is just jump in and say exactly what she says and derail you. I kept thinking, I'm not going to derail her. She's got a full head of steam. She's going.
Thank you, Chloe. Yes, we really, we feel very strongly that these are great programs. And I think if you're considering a marketing program in Ontario, I really think George Brown is an excellent option. It is a great program if this is a direction that you're thinking of going in. So I'd strongly encourage you guys to take a good look and have it in your in your decision set as you're
You
making.
already touched on, I mean, the student community is awesome, really is. I mean, that's something that we can't really, speak to without having students here, but I just love the students. I think there's just so much energy and positivity and, the friend networks and all the rest of it. So
yeah. And diversity. I mean, there's so much diversity at the college too, which brings a lot into the classroom.
Yeah, like 140 countries are represented, right? So
yeah, which is, it really makes the learning experience very rich.
We did have another question from an applicant. They missed the business elective slide, and they were wondering if you could go back to that.
Sure. Let me see here.
Please and thank you.
Yeah. Let me just go. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And what you can also do is if you go onto the George Brown College website and you put in the search bar either B108 or 158 or 120, it will bring up the detailed pathway, which I showed earlier, which shows both the required courses as well as lists a bunch of electives. So it might be a good thing to do if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of the courses. Again, you just put in the chat bar B108 or B158 or B120, not in the chat bar, in the search bar on the George Brown College website, and you will get all this information. You can pull up the pathway.
That's not even all because the PR courses.
And this is not all of them. This is just an example. I think the one on the website is a bit more robust, but there is even, like, I had a student this week come to me, and she's really interested in computers and the user experience, and she's found a couple of courses outside of our programs and said, I really want to take some business electives in much deeper into the computer part of the user experience of digital marketing. And I approved both of them right away. Like, excellent, go ahead, do it. So there's definitely some flexibility. Like, I have another student that's really interested in content marketing, and she's found a course in continuing education that we offer, and I've signed off on that as an elective. So there is the one thing, and I will say this is another thing that makes George Brown different is we offer more electives and more options to do electives than any other college across Ontario in a marketing discipline. So if you were to go to Seneca, I think in a 3-year program, you might get 2 elective marketing choices, maybe 3. And I think in the 3-year program offer 6. So it's definitely something to consider if there are different areas of marketing that you are looking into. You get a little bit more choice when you come to George Brown. Anybody else?
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to thank you very much for the slideshow. It was very informative. I have a question because I actually applied for the 2-year diploma, marketing diploma, and I would like to know if there is like a project at the end of, at the end of the is there a capstone project to do before finishing the program, or like
Yeah, so there's not a one specific capstone project, but what I can tell you is there are capstone projects in a lot of our courses that you need to graduate. So sort of in that fourth semester, if you pull up the courses that you would take, a lot of those courses themselves would have sort of a bigger client project. And then, the other thing that I will mention again is this digital marketing portfolio, which is part of your capstone project as well, that is introduced in first semester. And then it comes back in fourth semester as well as in sixth semester for those of you that are sticking around for the 3-year program. So that would maybe be considered a capstone project. But, what I will tell you is even in the 2-year program, there will be client projects that you will be working on that you can leverage as sort of capstone projects in courses and talk about in, interviews and use on your resume.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, I guess if there's no more questions, John, are we good?
Yeah, we'll give it another 5 minutes if anybody does
Okay.
have anything outstanding.
Yeah, of course.
To all our participants, thank you so much for joining us today. If you are speaking and trying to ask a question and unable to, that means you are currently muted. So if you do have a question, please do unmute yourself. If you don't have a mic or if you have a problem with that, okay, here we go. Looks like we have a couple questions coming in.
Oh, okay, great.
All right, so Vora is asking, they have planned to take the B125 course and their actual preference was the B120,
Okay.
but I don't meet the required marks in mathematics. Should I still try for B120?
So I would say yes. Adrian, I don't know if you want to jump in on
Yeah,
this.
I would. Yes, definitely. I would try. I mean, there are workarounds with that. I mean, that's something you can go to the department and, that's something you could upgrade or, PLAR out of or something like that. So we do have testing, but yeah, I wouldn't let that dissuade you from the pathway you want to go, because we really are trying to build all sorts of different routes to the end goal. So
Yeah, and the other thing that I would tell you is you do a placement test, and so when you come in, you do, and if you don't quite meet the requirement, the math requirement, they put you in sort of a pre-math course to start with to get you ready for the actual first semester course. So I definitely would not, as to Adrian's comment, would not deter you from applying.
And I would also like to add, for any student that is considered a mature student, so 19 years of age or older, for our B120 course, I can confirm that we do offer admissions assessment testing for both English and math. So please do take a look into admissions assessment testing. I will post a link in the chat if you are interested in looking more into that. Good question. We have another question here. I just heard from the other meeting that some courses are not eligible for OSAP, but just curious, is business eligible?
I have never heard that business courses are not eligible. Adrian, do you?
no, I've never heard that. Well, a lot of
Yeah.
our students have OSAP.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would say it's eligible for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps there's a misunderstanding there, but as I guess, just to confirm, it does sound like all business courses are eligible. And I have another question here. When do we choose our courses? What is our registration date?
Yeah, so I can't give you an exact date, but it is typically mid to end of July for the marketing students, depending on what marketing program that you're in. So you'll be given much fair warning, and then you'll be given a date like July 17th. Your courses go live at 10 a.m. And it's a very simple process. You log on and off you go. And for students that might need assistance with that or to build a special timetable, the business office has a virtual help desk right now. Easy to reach out to them to help you navigate getting the courses that you need for the fall. But typically in first semester, it's a pretty easy process. They're all available for you with multiple sections. And but mid-July, that was probably too long an answer, but mid-July, mid to end of July. July is what you're going to be looking at.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Feel free to ask in the chat.
Yeah, hi. I do have a question.
Please.
Yeah, so actually my actual plan was B125, right? Hello?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Hi, yeah.
Okay, so my actual plan was to pursue the 2-year diploma B125. And after that, I wanted to transfer out of George Brown into a university per se and complete a BBA degree. So is it a good option?
Well, so and I can only speak to the marketing program, which is not B125, but really the only really clear path to be guaranteed university acceptance is 3 years in the marketing diploma with a 3.4 GPA and going to Ryerson. That is the only, I can only confirm that pathway. It doesn't mean that there are not other options for you to take your 2 years at George Brown and explore other, university post-secondary, but there's certainly no guarantee that we could give you that you could take your 2 years at George Brown and then jump into, a second year university program or third year university program. That's really up to the individual institutions. So if that's something you need guaranteed, I don't think that you'll get a guarantee on that at this point.
All right. And the Ryerson thing you told me. So the course I'd be pursuing in Ryerson would be the BBA degree program.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much. And the last thing, would you suggest me a course which is just 2 years diploma or something which has a co-op and is 3 years?
So we don't have in the marketing program, we don't have co-op option for the 2-year program. We only have it in the 3-year program. I am not familiar outside of the marketing department if there are in our business programs. I don't think in our 2-year business programs, there are any that have a co-op option. I think most of those are either in the 3-year or post-diploma programs. I'm not aware of any. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that if you want a co-op option, you've got to look at a 3-year program.
All right. So given my situation, would you suggest me to go for the B120? Because I don't meet my math marks by just 7 marks or something.
So I think as we had talked earlier, I wouldn't keep that math it wouldn't have me deter you from applying. I think go ahead and apply. And as Adrienne mentioned, there's opportunities, and John mentioned there's opportunities to write a math placement test potentially. So I would still, if the B120 is those courses are what you're more interested in, I think you should definitely apply to the B120 and see what happens.
All right, I'll get to it right away. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I would just add to that. I mean, these programs are managerial. I mean, the slant is, and that's deliberate because we're looking that graduates at some point are going to be in the management stream. So you did get a lot of foundation courses in both of these programs in the first semester. And all that is actually building equity. So, I don't really see this as a huge gamble. If you did the B120, even if you decided marketing wasn't for you, you'd have all these credits that you could move into another business program virtually anywhere in the college system. We have an articulation agreement with all the colleges, the heads of business in Ontario. So, and we've lined up all these courses. So, you're not going to go astray at that level. So if you're uncertain, a good strategy is just to try the 120, and then you can always, it's just seamless to move that into the 3-year advanced diploma if everything's going well and you like it. So just consider it's not as existential a decision as people make it.
Yeah, sir. All right, it was really helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. I had just another comment. Are we answering questions about individuals with offers or not with offers? And to that, I would say, we are open to any and all questions from either applicant or future student. So please feel free to ask. We'll do so. We'll answer to the best of our abilities.
Hi, I was trying to plan about like two courses, the B120 and B108. If 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 I could do two courses, is that okay? Because I want to get a diploma and an advanced diploma, so I could like start off like my job.
So my suggestion to you would be apply to the, so you don't do both, you do one or the other. But my suggestion to you would be to apply to the B108. If you are really thinking the third year is where you're going to land, start there. And then if after a couple of years you decide, you know what, I've had enough, or I can graduate and I feel confident about my career options, then we can move you to the B120 and you can just graduate as a B120 student. I mean, and you can also do the reverse. You can start as a B120 student, and then if you want to move into the B108, the one thing that starting as a B108 student will also allow you is if you ever wanted to consider the co-op and move into B158, then that's an option as well, depending on your GPA. So, but I really don't think you can make a mistake. I mean, really, if you could apply to any of the three programs. And as I mentioned up front, there's easy movement between the three, but you don't get both. It's one or the other.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll just look around. That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for your question, Kyle. I have another question here. I have deferred my offer letter to January session, but haven't heard back from George Brown yet. When are the offer letters for January session going out? And if Lori and Adrian have a crystal ball, they might be able to tell us. However, I don't think, unfortunately, at this time, we are currently aware of the dates when offer letters would go out.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're just sort of dealing with the fall right now, and
Yeah.
probably when that's wrapped up, then they'll start turning their attention to the winter. But I can tell you, if you were accepted and you've deferred, it will come, and it's just waiting on that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. Could be a little unsettling not hearing back, so totally understandable. Thank you so much for that. I have another applicant asking, could you please tell us about the subjects in B158, as I unfortunately joined late?
Okay, so let me just see if I can get to. So a couple things. I mentioned this before, but if you go on to just the George Brown website and put in the chat bar, B108, 158, the pathways, which I'm putting up, will come up, and you can print out a copy or take a look online as well. And they also will have the electives attached to it. But here is what I was reviewing before. So you can take a read of these courses. One of the comments that I made earlier in the session was just everybody to keep in mind that this is a business administration marketing diploma. So you will notice with your course selections that there's a lot of marketing courses, but there's also all sorts of other business types of courses. You've got accounting here, you've got economics, you've got computers, you've got some general business courses in terms of presentation skills and selling and statistics, organizational behavior. And then, the slant, though, for most of the courses has a marketing slant. So, here's the first 4 semesters. And then I'll just pop up semester 5 and 6 for the B108, 158. And then I'll just point out again, one of the nice things about this program is the electives. So you'll notice in semester 5 and semester 6, between the two, you get 5 business electives, which can be marketing focused, can be, general business focused. So it allows you to hone in on some of the areas of business or marketing that you're most interested in.
Hi guys, am I audible? The internet connection at my place is like really terrible right now.
Oh, that's all right. We can hear you.
Okay. So actually I wanted to know for the B120 course, how much does mathematics include the education? Like How much math is there?
There's a lot. So there, not to scare anybody, but marketing is definitely a career that numbers are important. You take 3 math courses, like 2, like sort of a general math, and then a math for marketers, and then you also take a stats course. But then within each of the courses, or a lot of the courses, there are also math components. So you definitely need to be, and then accounting is another course that's, definitely numbers driven. Market research is a course that, numbers are important, and there's a numerical focus. So you definitely need to be prepared for a slant to numbers. And that's, we are living in a digital world where analytics and tracking and measurement is at our fingertips and is important. So we try to prepare our students for that with some of our math courses.
All right, ma'am. So would you have a module of some sort that would help me come to know the topics which I'm going to learn, the subjects or the topics in mathematics and accounting?
Well, what I would suggest is, if you're really concerned and you want to know, really what are the areas of math I'm going to get into, and you want to sort of get a jump, what I would suggest is go into the college website and put in the different pathways. Like if it's B120, put 120 in, and then you can actually search each of the courses individually by course code, and you can get the course outlines. They're actually online. So you can then download the course outlines. Like you could download the first math course, and you can read the topics that are going to be covered. So if you want that much detail, it is available for you on the website. And again, how you would do that is just search by individual course in the search bar, and that should bring you to links to the course outlines.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I would just add as well that there is if you're more interested in the graphic and advertising component of marketing spectrum, you might do better to look at the School of Design, because they do have programs that have a lot of parallels with what we're doing, but it's more focused on design and graphics, and there wouldn't be the math and the digital and programmatic and all that kind of stuff. So definitely have a look at those. I think they actually have a brand design degree now as well.
Okay, so would that help me get into Ryerson?
Well, that is its own degree, but yeah, I mean, anything theoretically any courses can move you forward in the system, but I don't know if they have an articulation agreement with Ryerson. I mean, there's a distinction. If the Institute has actually set up a pathway and they've negotiated, and it's, fairly involved process, then like Ryerson recognizes our courses and they know exactly what they've done, what the courses do, and they just move people into their degree. But otherwise, it has a case-by-case basis where you just take your courses to the new institute you want to get to. And a lot of them will transfer, but quite often there's bridging courses that are required, so that people will have to take some, a few backfill courses to get into the degree. So, it's just a question of how streamlined it is, but every program is going to have some content that can be moved forward. But you would have to talk to them if you look at their the design school, or just do program finder on our main George Brown website. But look at stuff like that, like design, brand. Those are the headers that it's coming under. And look through their, they have several different diplomas as well. And if you're interested in something there, you can reach out to the coordinators or the administration there and see what kind of ratio of students they have and where they go, and what sort of pathways they've already established or have experience with.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks for your question, guys.